Alright, well, this is JT Rubber City Motoring. Kind of getting into the Trailblazer a little bit here. I have the dash all ripped apart for the most part. I've gone farther with this in my last one, but I wanted to show this just as a point of reference for kind of if anybody wanted to do this. I wanted to put a gauge where the dash plug was that says Trailblazer SS, and I mean there's a lot of ways you can do it. And I did this in my last one, it seemed to be fine. Is I took a dash plug, technically you could get any kind of dash plug that doesn't have four-wheel drive. It could be an SS one, it could be a two-wheel drive Trailblazer, and I just basically hollow it out, cut a big hole in it. Fits the gauge perfectly. It's snug in there. I'll see if I can show you the back side a little bit. Right there you can see kind of like there's the rear windshield wiper switch, and then the gauge is there. I'll probably put the little bracket on to hold it even more. And then the other thing I did was I run my Valentine 1 detector wire up along the top here and then down underneath, and I have an OBD 2-port splitter. This is a big mess right now, I'm not finalized here. And in the splitter I have the gauge and also the Valentine 1 Savvy, which allows you to, it automatically mutes the detector. You set the speed, I always set it to like 25, just because if I'm driving around, you know, red lights and that sort of thing, I want it muted. And it also powers the radar detector, so you don't use up a cigarette lighter outlet. And then finally it's got a little splitter here, so you can run the concealed display, which I kind of mount right here on the steering column. So before I put it back together here, I'll show you the final here in a second, but I wanted to show kind of like how I run all this. It's not too hard, but you know, it just takes a minute to get it all going here. And it offers a nice clean display for your detector there, no wires hanging down, and then you have a nice, I put an Aeroforce Interceptor in there right in that spot, which is kind of unused space anyways. So one more top tip I do, if you look up here on top of the say the dash trim piece, whatever this is called, there's these little gray nubs. Basically they're insulators, sound, so you don't have plastic on plastic. They always seem to fall off and you find them on your floor after you put this all together. So what I did is put a drop of super glue inside the hole on it and then pushed it back on there, and there's I think 4 of them, something like that, 4 or 5. And I just did that to all of them. Actually, when I took this apart, there were some missing. I had some left over that already fell off my last vehicle, so just put those back in there. This does have an aftermarket radio, which I kind of want to change. It's not my favorite radio. It's decent. It's a pretty good one, but I'd like one that does CarPlay, so I might be taking this ball back out eventually here. But yeah, so get this going here and show you the final product. Finished product, here we are. So I ran through, did a little bit of quick detailing, used some Meguiar's interior cleaner, some leather treatment on the leather areas on the steering wheel, so if it looks a little glossy, that's why. Just kind of some general cleanup though, but overall here, my gauge is kind of blinking here. Alright, so I just had the car running. So with everything off, I do find it amazing though when you try to clean this car for like video, the black interior, which I love, just shows so much dust, but overall looks pretty good. Alright, so anyways, there's my gauge installed. You can make out I did use a non-SS trim piece there, so you can see the gray back there a little bit, but you know, from right here, driver's area, it's barely noticeable. I did put the bracket on the back to hold it, ran the wire, snaked it, did my splitter down there, and then there's my concealed display for the Valentine. Now that does a couple of cool things. I mean, obviously you can control it right there if you really want to reach your steering wheel, but it basically makes this display up here just blacked out. So really, if you know somebody's behind you, anybody, they won't see it light up. All right, so here's the startup, how this works. So it sort of all blinks up there, and then you just have display down there. And like I said, with that Savvy, it'll be muted anything below 25 miles an hour automatically, which is just amazingly nice. Alright, so onto the gauge. If you've never used one of these before, I'm not going to go a whole sales pitch on them, but they're pretty slick. I did put a little SS badge they sell on there, black front face, and then I have it set up to cycle some different things. Now the one negative I've found with the gauge in that spot is, if I show you here, there's wording on the top and the bottom of the things. From the driver's seat, from like right here, you can't see the wording on top. So some of them I make redundant, but basically I have it cycling. Let me start it here from the top. Coolant temperature there, which, you know, kind of accurate. Trans temp, which that's kind of accurate. Oil pressure and oil temperature. And then just for fun, mile per gallon and battery. That's an instant MPG, not an average. And then it goes back through them. So it's a pretty cool little feature. I dig it mostly for the transmission temperature. It just gives you a rough idea. Everybody says, you know, yeah, you're better off to drill and put something into your pan. I do have a PML pan, deep pan, I'm going to put on here next week. So I'm going to kind of get some numbers here with it stock and then sort of compare and then throw that in a video too. So that is my little interior upgrade, sort of, if you've been following the channel for a number of years now, back to how it used to be. But yeah, so there we go. 2008 Trailblazer SS with the Aeroforce gauge, say custom installed, and then the Valentine one Savvy and concealed display. Alright, thanks for watching. RubberCityMotoring.com. Check it out. Subscribe if you have not already. More to come on this car, as it is new in the garage. I got some plans for it, and I will be showing that. And the Impala should be back any day now, so with some good news, hopefully. So, alright, take it easy. Bye.